Greetings. I'm Dr. Chavis Bradford, Director of Federal Programs for the Hattiesburg Public School District. And on behalf of the school district, I would like to welcome you to our parenting series entitled Mind in the Making. Take this time to learn some of the new objectives we've put in place to help our students be successful here in Hattiesburg Public School District. We will continue to incorporate your feedback as we move into the next year. Once again, it's always a great day to be a Tiger. Welcome.
Hello, I'm Sarah Odom, Parent Educator for Hattiesburg Public Schools. We are happy to welcome you to our session from Mind in the Making about making connections. This book is by Dr. Ellen Galinsky, and we are happy to be sharing it with you today. As always, we like to remind ourselves of our vision and our mission here at Hattiesburg Public Schools. Our vision is to create a model teaching and learning environment that graduates every student prepared for success in life, college, and the workforce. Our mission is to educate all students to become productive citizens of a dynamic global community. Our district goals are: number 1, academic success; number 2, effective and committed staff; number 3, positive school climate and culture; number 4, family and community engagement; and number 5, fiscal responsibility and sustainable resources. It's often said that everything correlates. Making connections promotes understanding. So this is very important for our students to be able to make connections from the youngest on into elementary, middle, and high school. There are pathways to making these connections. And according to Dr. Galinsky, researcher Allison Gopnik of the University of California helps us to think in a certain way about connections. She asked the question, what makes something one kind of thing rather than another kind of thing? In other words, what makes a dog or a cat a cat? According to Dr. Gopnik, if a child can sort the world out into the right categories, in other words, put things in the right boxes, then we have a big advance on understanding the world. And to help us better understand, we have a video that was produced by our own Mississippi Public Broadcasting about making connections.
Making connections is at the heart of learning because it's essential to the stand for relationship. The concept that letters stand for sounds and that words stand for objects or ideas, like this word and picture of the brain. The skill of making connections is all about creating categories, figuring out what things are the same and what things are different, and connecting different ideas together. This is how we build knowledge. Making basic connections is a part of day-to-day life. Making unusual connections, seeing how things go together in new and different ways, requires creativity. That creativity, like all of the life skills, moves children beyond simply knowing information to using that information effectively and even in new ways. All children and adults can benefit from improving their capacity to make usual and unusual connections, keeping us grounded in the real world while being able to think creatively too. First, we start with the basic ability to make key connections, people to the objects around us, numbers to their meaning, making lots of everyday connections.
Okay, so back. We have Alma and her mama and her papa are coming over for dinner. So how many extra plates are we gonna need?
3.
3, that's right. So if we have 3 more plates and 4 of us, how many plates is that for everybody?
4, 5, 6, no, 7.
That's right. So you're gonna help me get a set? Good, thank you, buddy.
Mealtime is the perfect time to make connections. You can ask kids how many people will be coming and connect that idea to how many forks, napkins, and plates they'll need. A direct connection of people to objects. If your child is still learning their numbers, you can also write out the number, connecting the symbol for the number to the idea of the number.
Look over there. What do you see over there?
Another great way to make connections is if you're out for a walk. Ask your child to point out 3 things they see. Then ask them what's similar about them, or what makes each one different. Keep finding things that are alike and things that are different, and encouraging your child to find the connections and distinctions as you go.
Making connections is key to how we learn. We need to be able to connect symbols like letters, numbers, and words to the ideas they represent. This is called symbolic representation.
It's another life skill that utilizes a lot of executive functions. Making connections requires calling up what you already know, which is using our working memory. Figuring out what's the same and what's different, which requires cognitive flexibility. And sorting these things into categories, which we do by using our inhibitory control. So how do we build all of those executive function skills
And develop the skills to make connections. Here are some fun ways to encourage this important learning process.
Can you write the word dog for me? Can you do that?
Write down words as your kids say them, so they see the connection between what they say and written words. Spell it out and sound it out as you go to build connection and comprehension. D-O-G, dog. Have kids play sorting games where they put big things in one pile and small things in another pile. Then change the rules and sort by color. When your child makes a mistake, talk through it to connect their choice to the consequence. Consider their feelings and plan for better choices next time.
Those playful learning strategies really can help build a solid connection-making foundation. But let's not forget about the power of creativity and how learning to make unique connections and think differently can truly open a lot of doors. So how do we help our children make creative connections?
These illustrated illusions or figure ground illusions can be viewed two different ways. Do you see a vase or two faces? Look closer. The face illusion is a very famous one, but there are a lot of look two ways images out there. How about the rabbit or duck? Kids love this one, and you can help them see both by tracing the ears, then tracing the duck bill, showing the eye, the nose that also looks like the back of the head.
Would you like to try to trace this?
Using these image illusions helps kids see creative possibilities and make more unique connections. It also reinforces concepts like perspective taking. Maybe you see the duck first, but they see the rabbit first.
Lots of these learning strategies to support life skills overlap in which skills they help build. And that's another great connection for all of us to make. Learning leads to learning. Skill building leads to skill building. And one connection leads to many connections. And every day is an opportunity to do all of these things.
And to help us remember some important points, we can think about how children make connections. From the time they learn to communicate, and if we think about it, they come here with communication. They let us know when something's wrong from the very beginning, right when they're born. But as they learn even more, they learn that sounds stand for words, that words stand for people, places, or things, and eventually that symbols stand for the words they hear and say. For instance, they quickly learn the sign of their favorite place to eat. They can probably very early on read or recognize McDonald's or some other place that they are very anxious to visit. They also pretty early on learn to recognize their own name, things that are so important to them. So those symbols help them to interpret the world. There are 3 different types of sense that Dr. Galinsky mentions in her book: object, space, and number sense. Related to object sense, how objects or matter, energy, space, and time interact with each other. And this is the foundation for learning how everyday things work. And we can see that making connections is fundamental in an example that most of us have noticed before. When a child is old enough to be able to sit up in a high chair and they drop or push something over the side of the high chair and wait to see what's going to happen. They're testing to see if you indeed will pick it up, which of course usually you do, and put it back, and then they drop it again. They're checking to see if that connection is there, that if every time he or she drops it, you will pick it up. Moving on, we discuss space sense. Understanding place, space, and geometry. In other words, how things all fit together. The stands for relationships between symbols and objects. According to Dr. Judy DeLoach of the University of Virginia, there is nothing that sets human beings apart from any other species on the planet more than our symbolic capacity. If you think about what you know about the world, a vast proportion of what you know comes through symbolic representation, either pictures, video examples, paintings, and then also, of course, words. And then there's number sense. Researchers have concluded that babies are wired with a sense of approximate number. Even very, very young children have a sense of more or less. And you can think of examples such as they quickly understand when someone has more than they have, long before they would have had a chance to have been taught that concept. So children are born with number sense, but unless they learn content and begin to master life skills, they aren't exercising and developing this inborn ability. All of this comes together in executive functioning. It's putting it all together. For example, if we have our child put the yellow counters in the yellow bucket and the green counters in the green bucket, something that they're able to do pretty early on and pretty easily. But if we ask them to reverse the task, in other words, to put the green counters in the yellow bucket and the yellow counters in the green bucket, it requires them to be able to remember the instructions and to use their inhibitory control to not do what you would normally think you should do. Also, arts and the brain are a strong connection. There are links between the practice of music and skills in geometry. There are correlations between music training and learning to read. There's an increased ability to differentiate sounds if they have been exposed to music and experienced it themselves. Connections between training in acting and improvements in memory are evident. In other words, if you act, you have to imagine the other person's mind and have empathy or see things from their perspective. So 3 thoughts in closing. There are inborn capacities that children have when they arrive here. There are executive functions that we lay the pathway for them to develop. We give them opportunities for creativity. And they're all tied together, or in other words, connected, in the skill of making connections. In addition to thoughts about our children, Think about connections within yourself. What is self-care for you, or self-love? Some things to remember. Prioritizing your well-being, managing stress effectively, building a positive mindset, strengthening relationships, and practicing self-love daily. Because if you're not good, you can't be good for your children. Thank you so much for joining us for our Mind in the Making session, Making Connections.